Ma'am, are you Elizabeth Ann Watson?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. The court will now call case number 6298 and 6603, the state of Texas versus Elizabeth Ann Watson. Is the state ready?
Judge, we're ready on 6298. I believe 6603 is a newly indicted case.
Okay. 6603 is new.
I believe so. Yes, Judge. I think that's a new indictment.
Is the defense ready?
We're ready, Your Honor.
And now that you said that, I need to pull up her paperwork, and Moore County is going to be buying me a new computer very shortly because this one does not want to work. All right, Miss Watson, are you the same Elizabeth Ann Watson who previously pled guilty to the charge of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1?
Yes, I am.
Right, Miss Watson, when you, no, please just let me finish. When you pled guilty, do you recall that you were placed on deferred adjudication for a period of 3 years?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you were placed on deferred adjudication, you were told that you must follow all of the terms and conditions of probation as a requirement for otherwise you could be sentenced to serve time on the possession of a controlled substance charge. Do you recall that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Watson, the state is alleging that you have violated the terms and conditions of your probation. Specifically, the state is alleging that you failed to report to your probation officer in person or in writing for the months of July 2022, August 2022, September, October, November, and December of 2022, and January of 2023. The state is also alleging that you failed to make payments to the probation department for the months of June, July, August, September, October, November, and December of 2022, and January and February of 2023. Also, the state is alleging that you committed the offense of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 on or about December 12th, 2022. Ms. Watson, how do you plead to the state's allegations? True or not true?
True.
Ms. Anchondo, Ms. Watson has pled true to the state's allegations. Is there a plea agreement in this case?
There is not, Your Honor. If we can move to the punishment phase.
Ms. Watson, upon your plea of true, I will revoke your deferred adjudication and I will adjudicate you guilty of the offense of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1. We will now proceed to determine what your punishment for the commission of this offense will be. Ms. Anchondo, I'll ask you to call your first witness.
Okay, Judge, since she's pleaded true, if we can dismiss Ross Havens and Eric Kuros, they were part of the allegations in the motion.
Yes, Mr. Officer Havens and Officer Kuros, you're dismissed. Thank you for being available, especially if you were among those who work nights. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And then I call Audrey Contreras.
Ms. Contreras,
Yes.
please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes.
If you'll give me just a second, I need to rename.
Ms. Anchondo, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Can you state your full name, please?
Audrey Contreras.
And Ms. Contreras, are you responsible for supervising Elizabeth Ann Watson?
Yes.
Do you believe that she is still fit to remain on community supervision?
No.
Ms. Contreras, it looks like she was placed on probation with your office April of 2022, is that right?
Yes.
And then began to fail to report to your office starting in July of that same year.
Yes.
And then, so July, August, September, October, November, December, that leaves really April, May, and June are the only months that she actually reported.
Yes.
Because she has not reported this year either.
I had only 1 month where she didn't report in this year.
Okay, so she reported in February.
Yes.
Okay, and that would have been the month prior to her court appearance, which was initially March 8th. Is that correct?
Right.
All right. So 4 months total is what she's reported to you while she's been on probation with your office.
Yes.
Okay. In that time, she also committed another offense. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and that's what she admitted to here earlier. You've testified before that you're a custodian of records for the probation department. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and did you submit chronos in her case to my office?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, I want to offer into evidence the state's exhibit number 1, the chronos in Miss Watson's case.
Any objections, Mr. Seeloff?
No, Your Honor.
State's exhibit number 1 is admitted. Ms. Anchondo, could you send someone down with that, please?
Yes, and then I've also got state's exhibit number 2, which are the financials that we'd also like to offer into evidence.
Any objection, Mr. Seeloff?
No, Your Honor.
Those are also admitted as state's exhibit number 2.
Those are heading to you right now, Judge. Ms. Contreras. When she reported to you in June, did she admit to using methamphetamine?
June of what?
I'm
2020?
sorry, 22, yes.
Yes.
Okay, and then also marijuana.
Yes.
Did she say that she was willing to go to treatment,
Yes.
but then she failed to continue to report to your office? Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And then after that, later that same year is when she committed the offense possession of a controlled substance.
Yes.
Okay, and because of that, are you asking that she be sentenced to confinement rather than remain on probation?
Yes.
Is treatment appropriate for somebody that just never reports at all?
No, and not with a new offense.
Judge, I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Seeloff, do you have any questions?
Yes. Ms. Contreras, she did report at least sometimes, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And she never went to safety, is that correct?
No.
Your Honor,
I'm sorry?
no, I just said, Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Ms. Anchondo, anything further?
Ms. Contreras, she stopped reporting after you initially talked about treatment. Is that right?
That's correct.
Pass the witness.
Mr. Seeloff, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Right, Ms. Contreras, you may be excused as a witness.
Okay.
Ms.
Judge,
Anchondo,
if she can stay on the Zoom.
Yes, Ms. Contreras, can you stay with us for a little bit?
Yes.
Ms. Anchondo, you may call your next witness.
I have no other witnesses, Judge.
Mr.
rest.
Seeloff, oh, state
ahead.
rests.
Yes, we rest.
Mr. Seeloff, do you have any witnesses?
Possibly, Your Honor. I'd like to talk with my client very briefly to see if she'd like to testify.
Ms. Burnett, can you put them in a breakout room for 5 minutes?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Seeloff, would you like to call a witness?
Yes, Ms. Watson, Your Honor.
Ms. Watson, would you
Yes,
please
ma'am.
raise your right hand and be sworn as a witness? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
You can put your hand down.
All right, please proceed, Mr. Seeloff.
Ms. Watson, you admitted to the allegations against you, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You understand that you were supposed to follow the rules, but you failed to do that?
Yes, sir.
What would you like to happen today?
I'm not sure. I'd like to go to treatment.
Do you think you can successfully complete treatment?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that if you go to treatment, you may be forced to go to jail today?
Yes, sir.
And why didn't you show up to probation for those months listed in the motion to revoke?
I was homeless and all my things were stolen from me and I was scared.
When did this happen?
Because the person that I was staying with kicked me out.
When did this happen? What year, ma'am?
It was last year.
Do you think you can follow the rules if given a second chance?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that you can stay off of any controlled substances?
Yes, sir.
That's all the questions I have today, Judge, or for this witness.
Ms. Anchondo, do you have questions for the witness?
I do, Judge. Ms. Watson, so you were placed on probation on April 14th, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then that's your first check-in with probation is at court, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then the next month you go to probation and you test positive for methamphetamine then, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So the next month after you're put on probation, you had been using methamphetamine, is that fair to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes.
then you go to probation June 9th of 2022, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were positive for methamphetamine and marijuana, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And at that point, you were offered treatment. Is that fair to say?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Then Audrey tells you to go back to probation the next week to get the paperwork ready. And you said you understood that, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you failed to report to your office visit June 15th to go over that paperwork. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you don't report again until the month you are supposed to go, the month before you're supposed to go to court this month, right?
I reported this month.
I'm talking about in February is the next time you report. So you go from July 2022 to February 2023 with no reporting.
Yes, ma'am.
And then in the meantime, you pick up another drug charge. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
When is the last time you used, Ms. Watson?
Um, uh, way over a month ago. Or,
So if you were drug tested today, you'd be clean.
yes, ma'am.
So you don't have a drug problem. You're able to stop when you want to.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if you're able to stop when you want to, treatment is not going to be of service to you. You already have it under control. Is that right?
I want to make sure I keep it under control.
Ms. Watson, you believe that you can be successful on probation, but you've only reported 3 times. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And probation can't rehabilitate somebody that doesn't show up. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am. I was homeless and I had nowhere for my dogs to go, and I was
So
hungry
you,
and
in the
I was
number that
scared.
you, I haven't asked you that. And then when they do try to get a hold of you last year, the number that they have on file, they're not even able to reach you at. Right?
Yeah, my phone was stolen.
But your contact people, Thomas Kenway and Brenda Rachels, they're also not able to get a hold of. You're aware of that?
No,
Okay. And so it's not probation's job to go hunt you down to get you to come in, correct?
that's right.
And if you were in treatment in an inpatient facility, then that would have provided you housing for a little while, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Seeloff?
Ms. Watson, do you think
Yes,
you
sir.
can benefit from treatment?
Can you say that again, please?
Do you think you could benefit from treatment?
Yes, sir. I think that I could.
You recently faced new drug charges, is that correct?
Yes, but I'm not guilty of.
Okay, and you've also,
I'm sorry, what, I did not hear what the question and answer, the full part of that. What was it? What was the question?
she's facing the court reporter could repeat it.
Or
The
Daniel, one of the two.
The question is, you recently picked up new drug charges, is that correct?
Yes,
Answer,
ma'am.
yeah.
I'm not guilty of it.
Okay,
Okay.
and you need help with your drug issues, is that correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
You've told the court you haven't had a stable home.
Yes, sir.
Where do you live now?
I'm living with Bobby Ross.
Okay, and has that been a stable home for you so far?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe you can make future probation meetings if given a second chance?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe you can stay off of drugs to include methamphetamine?
Yes, 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 sir.
Do you think you can successfully complete treatment if given that option?
Yes, yes, sir.
And is this the first time that you've been revoked from probation?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Anything further, Ms. Anchondo?
Yes, Judge. Ms. Watson, you understand you pled true to the new drug case.
No, I'm not guilty of the new drug case.
And the person that was with you when you picked up that charge was Bobby Rice.
Yes, sir. I mean, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And is Bobby Rice a felon?
I don't know.
He uses drugs, doesn't he?
He used to.
When is the last time you saw him use drugs?
I haven't.
So you two are the only ones in the car when you were arrested December of 2022, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And the drugs were found in a bag that had your name on it, right?
No, ma'am, they weren't found in my bag. We found them in the floorboard.
You don't remember Officer or Deputy Kuros locating a white bag that was labeled, quote, Elizabeth Watson, end quote. And there was a clear baggie with a white substance inside of it that tested positive for methamphetamine? You don't remember that?
No, ma'am.
And Bobby
ma'am.
was there with you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Why are you walking around right now? Are you looking for Bobby right now?
No, I need to get some toilet paper for my nose.
Okay. Is Bobby there right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And where, do you have a job right now?
No, ma'am.
I'm sorry?
No, ma'am. I've got to turn in applications.
You did not report to probation that you were living with Mr. Rice, is that correct?
No, I just got here yesterday.
Where were you living before?
At 317 South Porter,
Whose house is that?
Marburg's.
I'm sorry?
Mark Berg.
How long did you stay there?
Um, 2 months.
Okay, so your testimony is that Bobby Rice is a stable housing, even though you just got there a couple days ago?
I just got here last night.
Last night. And you're aware that Bobby Rice is also on probation?
Yes, ma'am.
Is he on probation for drugs?
I think so, yes.
Judge, I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Seeloff?
No further questions.
I'm in court.
Anything further, Ms. Anchondo?
No other witnesses, Judge.
Does the state rest?
We rest.
Does the defense rest?
We do.
Ms. Anchondo, would you like to make a closing statement?
Yes, briefly, Judge. Ms. Watson is not a suitable candidate to remain on probation. I don't know what she's been doing this whole time. We don't know because she hasn't been reporting to probation. She doesn't have any indication that she's interested really in getting treatment help other than resurfacing the month before she's supposed to go to court. She was offered treatment and then didn't come in to do the intake. So that was her opportunity there. And as Ms. Contreras testified, she can't go to any of the treatment facilities anyway with this other case pending. We just asked the court to revoke her community supervision, adjudicate her guilty, and sentence her to no less than 5 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division.
Mr. Seeloff, do you have a closing statement?
Briefly, Your Honor, she's admitted that she clearly does have a drug problem. She's not had stable living. She's been hopping from place to place. She's trying to find a home. She finally has a temporary home right now. I'm not sure. I guess it's with Mr. Rice. If she needs to move somewhere else, she will. But it's difficult for some people on probation, like Miss Watson, to find a stable home, especially if there's no family or support around in the area. Ms. Watson's trying, and she just indicated to the court that she's willing to do treatment. She wants to get better. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Ms. Watson, I have already ordered this, but I do adjudicate you guilty, find you guilty of the offense of possession of a controlled substance. I don't think you're a good candidate for treatment. I also don't think you're a good candidate for incarceration. My heart goes out to you. You are in a bad place. However, I don't have a choice. You did violate the terms and conditions of your deferred adjudication. So I'm going to sentence you to 2 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division. I'm going to order that you report to the Moore County Jail today. Anything further from the state?
No, Judge.
Anything further from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
In jail.
Okay, court is adjourned.
I have to go to jail.
Judge, I'm gonna
No,
check the
no.
paperwork for.
No, you ain't got to drop out of that lawyer. Fire that fucking lawyer now. I want that fucking lawyer fired. Fire you, son of a bitch. You didn't even help her. You didn't do anything. You didn't talk to her, nothing. No, you're fired. I will hire her as my own damn lawyer. Fuck you. Fuck you. Bullshit. You're not getting her jail. Fuck you. You're fired.
Ms. Anchondo, can we send a police officer to that residence, please?
Yes.
Anchondo, can we?
Judge.
I will hire her goddamn lawyer.
I'm going to jail.
No, you're not.
And what were you saying about paperwork?
Judge, I'm checking on
Tell me
Jacobs right now so that we
Tell
can
that
go ahead and
to
get
me.
him released today.
No, no.
All right, thank you.
I'm going to jail.
No, you're not. You tell you what, let me talk to that lawyer, please. Get it off.
They're coming to get me.
No, they're not coming to get you.
Yes, they are.
Fuck you.
Don't say that. That's wrong, Bob.
That's wrong. It's wrong for any railroad. You boy, what are you doing?
I can't have it.
What are you doing?
I didn't follow the rules I've made.
You
Ms. Watson, I'm advising you to turn your.
I haven't done nothing. You haven't done nothing.
I know.
You ain't guilty of this charge. And the lawyers, they know that. I was witness to her trial. I was there. I was there. No. I was there. No.
They're coming.
Go, go, go,
Stop it.
go, go,
I know, but
go. Please, oh God, please.
Mom, they're coming to get me. I'm going to jail today. I said I'm going to jail today.
Irritating.
Mom, they're coming to
But take you in.
get me. They're coming right now to get me. Yes, they do.
There you go.
Turn the location off.
Honey, honey, what are we gonna do? Oh, what is it? Oh,
Turn my phone off. Turn it on.
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What kind of death situation is it? What kind of death situation is it?
Turn the location off.
Oh, baby, oh, baby. You're the only one here, Blody? So how come there's only saying that you're on a Zoom meeting that they're in the start? What happened with that? At the dog? Yeah. Where's Hope at? Do you mind if I check out there some more? Okay, you mind staying with the dog trainer? Come see Bobby. Stand up. Put your hand up. Walk towards me. Come out. Keep your hands up. Put your hands up. And I understand the tank. I'll figure out what's going on. What's going on today, animal? I was not woke up and I used up on the phone on the table and started yelling. I don't know. I go over to the restroom and he got that talking. I'll get them over here to my room. Okay, is there anybody else? I don't know where to go. Step back.
Cannot have it open here. The man's clear. She was just here because, or not unless Bobby's standing here. I mean, there's two phones here. Clear.